Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to this really exciting, insightful get-together. My name is Shipra. My pronouns are she and her. I stand about 5 feet, 5 inches tall, and I have medium-length black hair. I'm wearing a gray suit and a red top today. I'm also a mother to a lovely 4-year-old, and that's the role that I enjoy the most. I'd like you to imagine all of mankind as a large orchestra with different instruments representing people belonging to different races, cultures, genders, and colors. Now let's tweak this a little bit. Let's weaken the microphone for 50% of our female performers. Let's take the spotlight off 15% of our performers with disability. Let's push to the background 5% of those performers who are seniors. How do you think this would sound like? A little lopsided, maybe also a little incomplete? Yes, that's because a soulful symphony or meaningful music can only be created when all of the performers and instruments are given their due space, time, and spotlight. When we take this analogy and apply this to other aspects of our life, like healthcare, education, and economic independence, we realize that we have marginalized a large section of society for a very long time. Why is that a bad thing? For one, of course, there is the moral and human dilemma. It's just a mean thing to do. But how does that impact our society? There is a cost that we are paying by excluding these sections. Let's take an example. Imagine that you're a part of a group and you're having a conversation about a really interesting thing that happened. Let's talk about an India-Australia ODI match from last evening. You're in a group and talking very animatedly. Suddenly, someone from outside comes in and says, "Hey, did you look at that women football match that happened? That was very close too." A lot of us in that group are going to make a mental note and say, "I need to go back and check on what this was." Maybe some of us will develop a lifelong affinity to women football or other kinds of sports. Isn't that mind expanding? This is a personal anecdote. But think about the impact this can have at a macro level on society or on economies. When we are not powering our economies optimally or only powering them partially, we are doing an economic disservice to our countries and our societies. It is proven by research multiple times that organizations that are more diverse or are more inclusive are more profitable. There is also a healthcare cost associated with excluding people. Societies with high rate of exclusion spend a lot more on healthcare because of the mental and physical detriment that exclusion causes. The famous mystic poet Rumi once said, "Only when I seek everyone else will I truly know myself." That's the power of inclusion. Now, is all doomed? How do we solve this? Digitization, to a large extent, is solving some of these problems. Think of millions of students on wheelchair with limited or no access to education because our public transport system is inaccessible, our schools are inaccessible to a large extent, our coaching centers are inaccessible. Initiatives like the Khan Academy are democratizing education and helping bring education to all stratas and abilities and economies. The second initiative that I can think, okay, let's talk about this. Which place in India do you think is called the YouTubers hub? Do you think that's our own Gurgaon? All right, then maybe Bangalore, because that is the digital center of our country. It's not Hyderabad, it's not Mumbai. There is a small village in Chhattisgarh called Tulsi, which is where a large percentage of population is building content on YouTube and showcasing it, sharing it, and building wisdom and experiences for other people like them. A woman star YouTuber from that village has this to say: "A lot of women in our societies are not allowed to step outside of their homes. By building content and sharing our experiences with them, we are creating more awareness and education for women like us." That's the power of social media. Let's go back to 2015 when US legalized same-sex marriages. Love wins was a hashtag that was trending at that point. Since then, love wins has become an icon symbolizing the end of oppression for people belonging to the LGBTQI community. Not just in the US, even when Section 377 was repealed in India, love wins trended again, giving voices to a large number of people who either belong to the community or are allies. So the good thing about thoughtful technology or thoughtful design is that you're not just solving for your target audience. When Google Maps requires businesses to put wheelchair accessibility information on their business listings on Google Maps, they're not just solving for wheelchair-bound people. They're also helping mothers with strollers plan their day better, plan the resources better. And that's how you build on technology. What lies in the future? We have heard a lot of speakers talk about AI. Healthcare and diagnostics is expected to become cheaper, more affordable to the economically disadvantaged sections of the society. I'll go back to Google again. Google AI Labs is working on a technology through which cardiovascular disease can be predicted through an eye scan. It is not going to be an invasive or an intrusive diagnostics like MRI, CT scan, but simply an eye scan. When scaled up, that is expected to bring down the costs as well. In economies or societies with a large number of aging population and limited healthcare professionals, these interventions will help bring the services needed to most of the people. Now let's talk about communication barriers. How will communication barriers be reduced through AI? We are already seeing translators being used by us. We have our apps and we use translators when we're traveling abroad. We don't know the language. That's already happening. But text-to-speech and speech-to-text tools can help bring people with verbal impairments into mainstream conversations. Apps like VoiceIt learn from the speaker's pronunciation and convert that conversation into normal and understandable text as you and I would understand. Smart gloves or intelligent gloves help turn sign language into, again, sentences and text as you and I understand. What is in it for us? The future belongs to imaginators, thinkers, and creators. Let's build a tomorrow that is inclusive and where everybody feels belonged. Machine learning, data science are, of course, hard skills that are very important for the future. But the proof of the pudding is going to lie in how seamlessly we can bring forward the traditionally female aspects or skills of compassion, collaboration, and empathy. Only then is when I feel that we can build a symphony that is truly meaningful for everyone. Thank you.